Now, when it comes to what's going on in hip-hop right now, Joey just did it. He just hit a red button and changed everything in this battle. Because after there were diss tracks being thrown all over the place and aimed at him and he was responding, his most recent song, Crash Dummy, is easily the most defining moment of this entire battle so far, and now really between TDE and all of Joey, the East and West Coast, and Kendrick Lamar and Joey specifically. This thing just got way bigger, and the stakes have never been higher, because after both Ray Vaughn and Daylyt tried to make this beef so personal, Joey said, if you're taking it there, I am taking it further. And now because of that, if you are ready for this beef to only get crazier, more rappers to get involved, and see how the West Coast and all of TDE reacts to what I would say is now the most important diss track not released by Kendrick Lamar in years, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now with that said, when it comes to Joey Badass, to be honest, I had a whole other video ready that was going over all of the diss tracks released at this point and what all of them meant and were working to, but with this moment that Joey just gave us. This is the type of moment and song where when you get something like this, you drop everything and run, because with what Joey just delivered, this diss is not just saying the most out of all of the tracks that have been released in this entire lyrical skirmish, but if anything, it has to be the song that is going to get Kendrick Lamar to speak on this for sure, because now with what Joey did here, was absolutely disrespect and come at everything Kendrick Lamar holds so sacred and important, while also checking Ray Vaughn and Daylyt at the same time. And when it comes to Kendrick, it really seems like Joey studied everything that happened last year with him and Drake and J. Cole to create a moment that will get him to respond, because with a lot of this song, from the Hit 'Em Up sample, which is now directly channeling the Tupac energy more than anything else has, and unlike something like Drake's tailor-made freestyle, it is tasteful, and of course, as Hit 'Em Up is the diss record, it is directly channeling the idea of competition. To then from that saying Kendrick's name on the track and then throwing some big claims his way, which are going to make headlines, like saying that Kendrick Lamar is scared and that his team was at Diddy parties after all. And then beyond that, to even lifting some of the same talking points and sentiments that Kendrick used to Drake on something like 616 in LA, with the whole "have you ever thought that OVO was working for me" part of that track by saying "have you ever thought TDE is working for me here?" Overall, no matter what else you want to say and who you are rooting for, Joey has clearly studied everything that has happened in this time to try and create something that can be both effective and catchy to people, and at the same time be a vengeful response that is going to show all of TDE that they have nobody else who is going to be able to handle him besides Kendrick Lamar. And now really, as Ray Vaughn and Daylyt were the ones who asked for this beef to get to this point, as both have made their recent diss tracks very personal, and Ray made his last song all about how Joey was at the Diddy parties and how he was a part of everything else going down there, and Daylyt also used some similar points, and Daylyt also used some similar talking points, and also said some other stuff like he was gonna eat, and actually we can't even say that here, but he said that he was gonna do some very strange stuff, to say the least, to Joey's family. I mean, they clearly crossed a whole other line for TDE and waved that flag that Joey is now just following in and showing up to. And I mean, unlike the other fraud rappers that we have seen recently, like Drake for example, who of course would cry here when things went too far and get scared and then do something like The Hard Part 6, because of course for Drake, only somebody like him could play by this set of rules. In the spirit of hip-hop, Joey is pushing things further in almost something that feels like a successor and almost evolution of what Not Like Us was, just in terms of how fun and catchy this track is, while simultaneously being a very effective and important diss track that is going to have major implications on what's about to come next. And speaking of Not Like Us, when it comes to Joey taking so many different beats and things that worked about that song, whether some of this is a coincidence or not, after Kendrick's weird case bar about Baca there, seeing Joey mention and bring up how TDE has a weird case of their own, which is of course referring to the suit that happened with some people in the label, which was alleging some very bad things right around the Super Bowl. I mean, again, no matter what side you are rooting for, as a lyricist and competitor, Joey is doing the right things to take over this beef and make it a bigger and bigger moment that he is trying to shift, of course, in his and New York's favor. And really, this track is going to create some uncomfortable conversations, especially about the East and West Coast, as this has really all just started a new iteration of that beef on the greatest scale that we have seen in really so long. And now, as Joey is really trying to make the West look bad here and make them answer some uncomfortable questions that they have tried to avoid, he feels like, he straight up said some big things, like, "We ain't ducking smoke, this is hip-hop. All I need is a microphone and a disc jock. I do this for Big, Pac, and Pop Smoke. How many more New York people gotta on y'all coast?" And with that, that's a powerful line that of course refers to Biggie and Pop Smoke and how they were lost and where they were lost. And as nobody is holding back in this thing and everybody is trying to win, This was a very strong thing that Joey said that I think is going to have major implications on a lot to come, because it's definitely going to strike and bring things to a very emotional place for people. But now, speaking of all this power that Joey is trying to get here, and power moves specifically, Joey makes another power move here by flexing his pen and telling rappers now that from the release of this track now on, if a rapper does not respond to him within 24 hours, it's a shot clock violation and their beef is over. And I think as Joey is trying to get Dot and have all of these other rappers move out of the way who are trying to keep getting in this thing, this is a good way to just scare away some of those 101 rappers, as he says, out of there and get them to work under more pressure and stop wasting his time with these disses that really don't matter in the grand scheme of it all. And now, at the core of Joey's verse here, what he is trying to do is hold up his crown and make the biggest push that he has to get Kendrick Lamar to jump out and respond to him, as he literally says here, and this is wild when you think about how so many other rappers are just absolutely terrified of Kendrick, and I mean rightfully so. Thank you for making it clear that Dot's scared. And I mean, when you just compare something like that to everything that J. Cole has done with his apology, and even everything that we have seen from Drake, and all of the other rappers who get weird and emotional when Kendrick's name is brought up, again, you gotta give Joey credit for at the very least believing and not being scared to just say something about Kendrick Lamar and trying to create this competition in the first place. And of course, with these lines, Joey is trying to poke the boogeyman one more time and just build this narrative that he is scared and won't respond, which we already saw previously on Joey's track before this, My Town, where he was saying now that he is the boogeyman, and threw together a bunch of other lines to try and discredit Kendrick's pedigree. And now, while I don't think Joey thinks that Kendrick is actually scared of him, and we know that Kendrick is not for sure, because I mean, come on, we all saw last summer in this entire run, this play to try and get Kendrick out of here faster and do something which I am sure already was Kendrick's plan on some level, is again more respectable than the approach that any single other rapper besides Kendrick Lamar has done in this era in hip-hop as a whole. And now, while doing all of this, what Joey also does here is pack up Ray Vaughn and really just suns him here by saying that he saw Top at a Diddy party, and at that moment, Top asked Joey to use him to try and build Ray's career up and bring it up. And with Joey just putting this out there, whether it's true or not, again, with both the Diddy stuff and by making Ray smaller and smaller, as he literally just suns him here. After Ray already seemed like he was pulling at strings to try and get that last diss out on Joey, because there was a lot of Diddy stuff there, and it seemed like he was really just trying to make some room with lyrical fodder. I mean, from here on out, Ray has really got to give this whole thing up, because there can't be much that he has left to say about Joey, and with this whole section of bringing up that he saw Top at the Diddy party, I think what Joey was trying to drive home here is that whether it's Kendrick, him, Cole, Drake, or any other rapper literally from the last 4 or 5 decades, they have all been around Diddy because he was in the same industry and spaces that they have had to be in, and the goal of this whole thing was just to get people to stop using this talking point, because just like we have seen with OVO and Drake, and what they have tried to do is they show that same picture of Kendrick Lamar with Diddy and a line out of context. This whole thing just becomes a never-ending loop of narrative and moral gymnastics that nobody is ever going to win, because again, all the defining rappers that have been anywhat successful have been with this guy, and it's because alongside Dr. Dre and Jay-Z, they were the biggest and wealthiest figures in the genre, and they were inescapable because of that. And now on the second verse of this track, after Joey takes out Ray and is trying to get Kendrick to respond to him, Joey really goes at Daylyt here, and first off, as Daylyt dropped a second diss track titled AO hours before this, where he was talking about eating something that was just very weird, as I said earlier. Joey shows how quick his pen here and how quick he finished this thing, as he just asked Daylyt, why do you keep bringing up pregnant woman, don't you got a daughter? And I love this response. It's simple and it's to the point, and now with Joey just putting into perspective how stupid of a line that is, and then going into Day's career and again, flipping the whole Diddy thing by saying last time he checked, the TDE label execs were in hot water because they have a weird case. Joey just created and made way more trouble for the label, and now things are really getting to a place where the beef is taking off, and really, let's just be real, Ray Vaughn and Daylyt have both performed well in this beef, and especially Ray, who I think solidified that he is going to be one of the leading MCs of the future. But I mean, Joey has just outclassed them in every single sense of the word, and even after releasing a track not even 24 hours before this titled My Town with Loaded Lux, which was amazing in of itself. So at this point, somebody else from TDE has to jump in this thing and defend the label on the West Coast, because as far as I am concerned, Joey has won this part of the Gauntlet, Lyrical Royal Rumble, or whatever else you want to call it, and now whether it's Absol, J-Rock, Schoolboy Q, Doechii, I don't know, SZA, or the final boss, Mr. King Kendrick Lamar, Joey needs a better competitor against him, which all of those guys are, and I am sure for Kendrick himself, he will make quick work of this thing and just find another way to take apart another rapper's career when the time is ready. But now, as Joey is trying to disrespect the entire label and identity of TDE in this time where they are trying to move up in the industry and in music, and are literally on the biggest tour in the entire industry, somebody's got to jump in and set things straight. But until then, until we see Kendrick Lamar settle the score once and for all, we know that with everything Joey did here, he wants to see him in a lyrical 1v1 more than anything else, and with how he's going now, he may actually just end up getting that. And so now with all this said, let me know, what do you think about the new track Joey Bada has released? What do you think about everything else going on in hip-hop right now? Let me know your ranking of all the songs. Who do you think is winning this thing? And what do you think is going to happen next? And who do you think is going to jump in to help these guys on TDE? Because I don't think they're going to handle Joey. Now, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all of this. And now, if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now, if you want to see how right before this, because hip-hop is winning so much right now, we don't got to talk about Drake anymore, and he is finally walking away because people are just not caring about the antics because we are seeing rap in its best form, check out the suggested video.